August the 14th, 2025, 10 a.m. meeting of the Daviess County Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. Do a roll call vote, if you don't mind, Crystal. Would you just say the people's names here and confirm that? All three.
Here.
Here.
Here. We did have a meeting a few months ago, so we've got some minutes to approve, but I think there's a request, if you all deem it to be appropriate, that we do a Pledge of Allegiance. Shall we open with the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think that's an appropriate opening because, we ultimately are doing this not for ourselves, but because there are rules out there. There's government that we work for and with, and I think that's important to remember. So thank you for suggesting that we do a pledge of allegiance. At our last meeting, we did have some officers that we appointed, so that is why I'm kind of taking the lead here. I'd ask if everyone has had a chance to go ahead and review the agenda, and then we'll talk about the minutes. So on this agenda, it's just a suggestion that I made after our last meeting that we have kind of a standardized approach to the agenda. Crystal, did you have any feedback on this? Are you comfortable with? Now we've got, if there's an approval of the agenda, I'll listen to a motion to that end. Motion to approve the agenda, second by
Ron
Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Let's look at the minutes from the April the 3rd, 2025 meeting. Also want to make a comment. I really appreciate this packet that you all put together. Super helpful just to know what we're doing. It's very good. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. And I'll just summarize this. April 3rd, 2025, we met in the assessor's office. Grant, Rhonda, Jeremy were all present. Crystal was also present as the assessor and secretary to the board. Election of officers. Myself was elected president, Jeremy vice president, and Ms. Osby, the assessor, is the secretary of the board. There was an exemptions review, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Uplands Regional Land Bank. There was a review of unfinished business. Mainly, there was a discussion about new business, so exemptions, how those work, and then there was a discussion about neighborhood factors and tax bills. We adjourned the meeting and set the next meeting for today, August the 14th. Time's wrong, but I think that's what we initially said, and then we moved it up. So,
It is.
is there a motion on the minutes?
Motion.
A second.
Motion, second, to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries. We'll sign those minutes afterwards if that's acceptable. Okay, the next thing that we have on our agenda is an assessor's report. Crystal, did you want to go ahead and just give us some feedback on whatever you're wanting to talk about right now, and maybe how you'd like to do this?
I have set aside 15 minutes each appeal, and you can see in the notes, the will have some time to speak, and I will state
We happen to have that draft of how we'd like to conduct this with our, I have a copy of that. this doesn't have to be necessarily set in stone, guys. I just thought it was a good way to run a meeting. We've got witnesses and information being presented. Thought it would be helpful to have some guidance on how this would go, okay? We don't have to necessarily keep things to 15 minutes, but on a per appeal basis, I think that should be plenty of time. It's important to remember that we've got things that are called objective appeals, subjective appeals. An objective appeal, if I may, would be something like a building has been assessed as a commercial building, as a restaurant, and it's actually somebody's. It would be an objective appeal. Either the assessor has assessed this correctly or not, objectively. Most of what we'll be seeing, and I believe what we're going to be seeing today is mainly subjective appeals, meaning a building has been assessed at a certain amount, and the taxpayer is not in agreement with what that is for various reasons. Okay. Is that understood and acceptable? If you're accepting of this particular what to expect at the PTABOA meeting, we'll use this as a guide today. And obviously it's not set in stone. We would like your feedback as the secretary of the board, but ultimately it's this, by the time we get to this point, it's the board's decision relative to any of these items. Do I have a motion to accept this as guidance on what to expect at the PTABOA meeting?
Motion.
Got a motion?
Yep.
Second.
Second. All is in favor for using this as a guide for how we run these meetings?
Aye.
Is that unanimous? Motion passes. We've got the document you have here is something for you all to use, but also for us to use and for everyone here to follow along. We haven't had a lot of these in the past, so be patient with us if you would. And thank you for being here. If anybody is going to be involved with an appeal, I don't know if we need to swear them all in at the same time. That might be a little bit easier. There's a swearing in of witnesses. If you're promising to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you're going to be presenting today, if you don't mind, stand and raise your right hand. Yes? Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All 5 are sworn in. Crystal, Kim, what's your name? Mr. Fisher, Ms. Hepner, Mr. Hart. Everyone's sworn in. Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and start with the first appeal of assessment. That's Ms. Hepner. Please come to this table right here, and it might make sense. I don't know. We've got audio recording here. I don't know if this light. Am I being picked up? Are we on? Okay. It may be that we want you to speak at the podium so that we can hear what you're saying, and just so that the audience can also hear what you're saying. There should be. Just a second here. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Hepner. Please introduce yourself, name and address for the record, please.
I'm Catherine Hepner. Address is 211 Northeast 9th here in Washington. My husband is Terry L. Hepner. He's deployed in Syria as a civilian contractor, so he can't be here today. Do you have the assessment, the evidence packet I submitted with my appeal? Okay, I don't have a copy of that in front of me, so I have to do most of it by memory.
You can use my copy if you'd like.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
There might be less than that, but I know you're on top there.
Okay. Let's see if we can get the rest. Okay. So because of the nature of my husband's work with the military, we do move around a lot. I've had to buy and sell multiple houses in all various areas of the country. Because of that, knowing, and we love Indiana, we'll probably stay here, but we'll be retiring next year, and due to our age and health, we'll probably have to sell the house again. So I keep track of how much I could possibly sell that house for. Do know that when we bought the house 4 years ago, it was at $220,000. I get a monthly report of what home values are doing in the area in the 47501 area code. And the most increase in property value I've seen in that monthly report is 5% since the day that I bought the house. So the assessment that came through is certainly more than that. Let me see if I can
What
find-
was the assessment, ma'am?
Let me see.
I gave it to her.
200. almost
266,100?
Yeah. And I'm asking for less than that. I'm asking for 255. I think it's more like 250, but I'll let, by the calculation, it should be that. 5% would be 231. And then the considerations that I have regarding that are that housing prices, my evidence is that I think I'm in the wrong district. The district that I'm being assessed in is far too large. So my house is lumped in with all the properties that are being sold north of the golf course. My house is not north of the golf course. My house is 2 blocks away from the railroad tracks. I have a beautiful view of the water tower outside of my bedroom window. I also have a stunning view of the run-down apartment building that's just 1 block over from me. A house on that block has not been able to sell because of the location of that apartment building, and I can't deny the fact that that apartment building does have effect on the house value in my neighborhood. I also have the biggest house in my neighborhood. I'm surrounded by much smaller homes, and that's going to drag down the value of my house as well. Also, I'm on a double lot. No other house in my neighborhood is. I recognize that that increases the value of the house, but it does not increase it as much as the properties that are north of the golf course or even near the golf course, because I know that there's a house that's for sale on Bedford Road as well. The condition of the house is fairly good. It has an extremely small kitchen. I will go back, let me roll back a little bit. When we bought the house, it had been on the market for a year. The person who was trying to sell the house was unable to do that. I bought it in December, one of the few houses that was actually still on the market because she was so desperate to sell. Anyway, so it has the reasons it didn't sell is because it has an extremely small kitchen that was last remodeled in 1980. It has a very odd layout as far as the kitchen is concerned. The only place for food storage is a pantry that is elevated off the ground, so it's nearly impossible to get to anything that's in the pantry. It also, unlike the other homes that are for sale in the area or any of the comps that you're looking at, while it has it has 1 full bathroom, 1 3/4 bathroom, which means that it only has a shower, and then 2 half bathrooms. Okay, the half bathrooms are extremely small. The none of the bathrooms are attached to any bedroom, so there's no master bedroom suite. So as I'm sure you know, because you live in houses too, most homeowners would prefer the privacy of a master suite, and I don't have one. To access any of the bathrooms, you have to go out into a hallway. There's only 1 full bathroom on the 2nd floor where the bedrooms are. That means that bathroom is shared by 5 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms is extremely small. So if anybody was going to buy or be looking for a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath home, they wouldn't be selecting mine.
Ms. Hebner, I'm looking at your property card in 2023.
Mhm.
Is it correct? Was this assessed at 311,000?
Yeah, they downgraded, that was the year I filed an appeal, and without having to go to the board, they downgraded the condition of the home. The condition of the home is such that the plumbing needs to be redone. The there is no water pressure on the top floor where the bathrooms are, where the bedroom is. And so I'd have to redo that water. And then the electrical system has to be all redone. I have yet to be able to find an electrician who is willing to tear into horsehair plaster walls to rewire the house. So I have several plugs, light fixtures, wall sockets, stuff like that are dead, and I need to rewire the house. The last time I had an electrician look at it, he jokingly said, well, I could probably do it for $15,000, and I hopped on that and said, okay, let's do that. And he backed away, and I never heard from him again because he realized that it was going to be a much bigger job than that. So.
You going to say something, Crystal, about the question? So it was assessed at 311,600 in 2023. Is that correct?
I don't know.
And it went down, 63,000 in assessment down to 248.
Yeah, I believe it went from an A property to a B property. I don't know what that means. Oh, C+1. There you go.
You haven't have pictures of the front or the inside of anything?
Everything.
I have pictures from
Perfect.
Halloween.
So I also understand you bought this for $220,000 in December of 2020.
Yes.
Is the property better or worse than in December of 2020?
It's sort of a long story. I won't take it too much time, but we had to replace the water heater. And when we did, the vent that all the appliances, the furnace, the water heater, blah, 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 goes through is in a central chimney that's through the center of the house. Well, that liner to that brick chimney fell, and the plumber didn't affix the vent to that correctly. So the vent was actually going through the brick, which meant all the water, humidity from all the appliances was going through the brick. That actually destroyed, I have pictures of that, it destroyed all the plaster that was central to the house surrounding that vent. I had to take down the chimney and replace the liner to that, and then had to have a contract company come in and redo all the plaster and a ceiling that was destroyed in the stairway. That's the only improvement I've been able to do. Since we were retiring, I won't be able to do any other major upgrades to the house. And it's in the
Your husband's
back
retiring.
of the house.
Your husband's retiring from the military?
He's not in the military, he's a civilian contractor.
Okay.
He's retiring from his company.
My apologies. So, and maybe I misunderstood. Do you think is the condition of the house better or worse than when you paid $220?
It's the same.
Same?
I'm not going to be able to do anything with the kitchen because there's no place to go. I can't remove walls. There's asbestos in the house. I can paint. I can't afford to redo the wiring. The next person who owns the house is going to have to deal with it.
Okay. I'd like to hear from maybe Crystal at this point, unless you have anything else right now, ma'am, that you'd like to say?
Again, just to emphasize, I understand that your hands are tied in the sense that there's a percentage that you have to increase the assessment by. I disagree with the percentage, but I'm finding the wrong people for that because it comes from the state, not you guys. But
Disagree with the percentage, meaning?
I think the percentage is far higher than it actually should be. But my basis of that disagreement is that I'm lumped into a much larger assessment area than I really should be. If you're looking at comps, you can't comp me with houses that are north of the golf course. You have to comp me with the houses that are surrounding me near the railroad tracks, near the high school. And
So
those houses,
then some of this is an objective
yes.
difference, and if you don't mind, I'd like Crystal to speak to that first point, at least. Thank you. And real quick, there will be an opportunity for yeah, if you don't mind. There will be an opportunity for you to also have comments. Thank you. Rafi?
Like she stated earlier, in 2023, she came into the office and she originally was graded as a B. We took her down to a C+1, and that's where you'll see in the 23 change from 311 to 248. The only other thing we did in 23, it looks like we changed part of the residence to 1 story instead of being 2 stories, so that also helped bring it down. The only increase from there would be in the cost tables, which are set by the state of Indiana, and that's where the increase came from this year.
Is there like a way that, I mean, how do we determine like what the neighborhood is?
She's in, you can see her neighborhood factor, 1.44.
Yeah, but she's saying, I think
You would
that
have to-
I'm north of, I'm lumped in with these places that are north of the
You would
golf course,
have
which are
to,
nicer places, and I shouldn't be. I think, is that what you're saying?
You would have to look at where the neighborhood is on the mapping, in the mapping system, and it is large. The neighborhoods were set years and years ago, before I was county assessor, probably 25 years ago. So what we did was I hired Kim to come up with some comps, and he's got some information here that he would like to go over with you as far as value.
Sure.
Excuse me. I only dealt with factual information. This is not my opinion. This is data that I derived. I found 13 sales south of the golf course that are multi-story, no ranches, 1.5 to 2 stories. I went back to 23. And when I strictly nothing more than taken the sale price divided by the square footage of the home, the median value was $104 per square foot.
May I say something? You should have this information in your package. You got it? Okay.
Okay.
So to follow along.
Again, I didn't worry about age, nothing. Just nothing more than the sale price divided by the square footage. Comes out to $104 a square foot. While we're supposed to be dealing with things prior to January the 1st of 2025, I am going to make one exception and let you know that one of her neighbor's homes just went on the market at $128 a square foot.
How many square feet?
1,780, less square footage than that. I also was able to find 3 sales that I'm going to use the term double sold. They sold and later sold again, and those 3 sales, and again, all 3 of those are south of the golf course. Those 3 sales indicate a yearly appreciation yearly of 9 to 12% over the last 5 years. The only other fact that you have there, and I'm not sure it's relevant, but of 7 of those sales, the days on the market, well, 6 of the sales ranged from 12 days on the market to 90. Now, those are just facts, the simple that Crystal asked me to do.
Show me, let's see,
I might
the subject.
I might also mention that if, as a fact, if the assessment is wrong, it could be too low, because in all the gathering, we found pictures from when she purchased the property that the basement has a rec room finish in a part of it, and we show no finish to the basement.
So the subject.
We're not here
so the
we're not here to increase any assessment.
No.
We're here
No,
to
no,
talk
no,
about.
I'm saying that the
Let's hear-
assessment could also be wrong.
Yeah.
And part of it could be wrong also by that.
Okay.
So the, again, the square foot median price is
Forward to 106.
$104 to $106 per square foot from the comps that we found. And she is at, what?
Currently,
104.
She is at, no, she is currently, what did we say? 80? Hold on, I got it here somewhere. Right here. She is currently at $87.50 a square foot.
That take in that downstairs in the square footage, because I see it's over 4,000 square foot on this, but it doesn't
No.
take in the downstairs. That's just the 2 main levels.
It's
It's like
only living,
2,000
it's
and two-
only living area. It's only, it's not garage, it's only
One level.
living area.
above grade living.
Yeah, above grade
Okay.
living.
Okay. Okay. Can we,
33,041 square feet.
She has 1614 on the main floor and 1427 on the second floor.
so 3341, does that sound right? So is it, what do you believe the square footage?
We didn't include the floor to room. Not in our calculation. 16, upstairs 1427.
Just shy of 3,000? Okay, so, just so I understand, your recommendation is that it's, what per square foot?
It's
What-
$87.50 per square foot currently.
That's what you've assessed it at?
Yes, and the comps that we are finding are 104 to 106
Okay.
per square foot.
I'm gonna pause and see if the board has any questions.
So a lot of the stuff, so you live there full time, okay. So a lot of the stuff, and everything's working as it should for you. So a lot of the things you're mentioning are like what you do just to upgrade, change the kitchen, but it. But would that be cosmetics, stuff that you would have to, whose problem is it that the water isn't good in the house? Is it the city's problem, or is it the actual house? And it was like that when you purchased the house? You, you didn't know about the water pressure?
Well, my opinion would be, when it comes to property taxes, it's based upon the market value in the state of Indiana. And the conditions you have, I do completely understand what you're getting at. But when you factor in the state of Indiana, the average is 5.6 to 10.3 appreciation each year, and that is year over year. From when you bought the property in 2020 till now, that's each year, and that's a fair assessment across the entire state. But the condition of the home can be taken into factor. And in my opinion, I think the assessor has, if you're at 87 something, and their comp sheets, and again, these comp sheets, they're not their opinion. It's just data driven. And if they're at 104.57, and I think the assessor or the assessor's office worked with you in 2023, sorry, I can't see small print. I mean, in my opinion, this isn't my vote. I'm not saying that at all. But I think if you go from 104, what would grant 104.57 to, what was it, 80?
To 87.50.
What's that difference? So I think the assessor is taking in effect, if you take that square footage price off for the condition of your home, would you not agree? If she's lowered it from a B to a C plus, in my opinion, I think the assessor is downgrading your home for some of the conditions that's in the home. Well, he was basing it on the criteria that they match your home. Your home. That's on an average. Like I said, ma'am, it's from 5.6 to 10.3, and their assessment is coming in at 3.9. So I think they are being, yeah, but yeah, I don't think they are comparing you. I was just giving you data of what the state, the entire state is, because all we're allowed to deal with is data, not our opinions.
Yeah. My question is for the assessor. Your recommendation is that this be assessed at 266,100? And my understanding from you, Ms. Hebner, is that you were asking for this to be assessed more like 250 or 255. Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah, 231.
On the notice of appeal, she's
Okay. What discussion or comments does the board have?
I don't.
Okay.
It's a beautiful home, though. I like it.
I will say, markets change fairly rapidly. I mean, we've seen things here this year sit on the market quite a bit longer than what we had in the past. This was bought at the end of 2020. The market was different at the end of 2020 than it is now. What were you gonna say, Ms. Clark?
Yes.
What were you gonna say? Did you
So
wanna?
what's in the estimates, how come there's such a big difference? A big difference in the two estimates that you? So- Yeah, but that's a lot of difference from 231 for this estimate, but 309 on this one.
fine.
This is yours, this is,
That's the one
Okay.
she brought in. That's
Okay.
the one I brought in.
all right.
So, I mean, I know
Um, and just so we're clear, our job is to look at the assessment and see if it makes sense. I was just to share with the group here, I was seeing the delta between last year, 2024, and 2025. The difference is approximately $15,100, which would mean that is slightly less than a 6% increase. I think it's about 5.9% increase. So what with that, the assessor has the responsibility to carry the burden and explain to us why it's gone up to the tune of 5.9% approximately.
Since 23.
Cost tables. I'm not sure what I think. I'm just speaking out loud. I'm not sure what I think about the neighborhood assessments, because that is kind of an objective thing, you know. I don't know. And I thought it was good feedback that the assessor told us that it's been this way for a long time. And I didn't make any changes on this. So I don't know what I think about that. I'll have to consider it. What I do think is if it's more than 5%, it's on the assessor to explain the why. And they've collectively provided us with quite a bit of information. I have an opinion, and I don't know that it's the right opinion, but I have an opinion always. Do you all have further discussion you'd like to have, or do you have a motion, or how would you like to proceed?
I'm new to this. How does it work normally? Does it have her go out, or deliberate, or how?
I think that we can have a motion and discussion right now, unless there's anything else from the appellant or from the assessor. Do you believe that the assessor has carried their burden to explain why it's gone up this amount?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is there a motion to that end?
I'll make a motion.
Your motion is that the assessment is $266,100, and that is an appropriate assessment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Take a roll call vote on $266,100. Ms. Clark, how do you vote?
I vote to stay, to keep it.
$266,100. How do you vote?
Yes, I do. Good to stay.
I'm going to vote no. And I'm understanding that that is not the winning position. I think it's reasonable that it could be a little bit lower, but I'm fine with the yes that this is what it is. So the position of the board is $266,100. 2 votes to 1. Is there anything else for the good of the order on this specific one? Thank you. I don't know what order we're going in. We have 3 additional ones. This is Mr. Hart, Mr. Curtis, and Mr. Howard. Mr. Hart next. Mr. Hart, if you would, please go to the podium. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the record, Mr. Hart, are you already sworn in to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Okay. Please proceed.
My name's Gary Hart, operate as GP Hart. I've put in an appeal for a tax, lowering my taxes on duplexes, 7 of them, all 7. First time I've done this, so you see my packet, it's pretty crude, but I have approached it from a comparable sales and a cost analysis. So, do you want to start with the comps?
I would,
That makes sense? Which one are we starting with?
because we have to make a decision on each, so I don't wanna lump them together.
That makes sense. Mr. Harder, are you starting with 1708 Parkdale?
What I would like to do, though, is, that was it. I would like to go and do the comps and apply them to each and every individual property. They would be applicable,
That's fair.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. We're at 1708 Parkdale Drive, a sale that happened in June of this year.
That's parcel 1410-26-402-007.001-017. Is that correct?
Yes, 1708 Parkdale. Says it right at the top.
Yep.
Okay. And you see it sold for $260,000. Do you see the assessed value? The $351,000. Is that correct? That $351,000 is assessed value of 23, pay 24, not 25, pay 26?
Yeah.
6/17/25. Anyway, if you look at that, the assessed value is $351,000, sale price $260, a difference of $91,300. You see that?
You bought this from Peacefield Properties?
Somebody did.
Oh, this is an illustration. I'm sorry.
Right, no, these are examples of comps.
Okay.
That is that a duplex or a row type?
It's a duplex. What's the same thing? Yeah, they are. They're on Vinegar Lane, or they're on Bedford Road. Okay, it's row type then. This is not two-story. It's out there on Bedford Road. You know that Jordan Brigham building. You guys know the properties, don't you? Are they row type or are they duplexes? What do you call them, you guys? Single story, correct?
Would we consider that, Mr. Murray, roll type or duplex? Because this is new. It is roll.
Okay, there we go. You see the difference of the assessor's value of $351,000. They are off by $91,000. And that's 23, pay 24. That ain't 20, that's not 25, pay 26. What would it be now? $100,000 difference? My point is the model that they're utilizing is flawed.
But you're not talking currently about your property, you're talking about a...
I'm trying to set a precedent about the model they use for assessing properties is flawed.
Understood.
Okay. And there's only been 3 sales in the last year, 2 years. So there's not a whole lot of comps to go by. And if we go to 400 and 402 Benninger, sold in October of 24, sold for $166, assessed value of $214, a difference of $48,000. Once again, a large discrepancy. And 23 pay 24, not 25, 26. I mean, today's numbers, these are old numbers. And then if you look at the sale of April in 24 of another property, which is right beside the one on Parkdale. They're both properties, they're kind of sister properties. And assessed value of $356, $300, sold for $270, a discrepancy of $86,300 on 23, 24 numbers. And then I have several other ones I just threw in there, as many comps as I could. My point is, the system they have for assessing, there's something wrong. They're way off. And then if we go to the very last page, and it is, there's been a duplex for sale right around the corner from one I have, and it went on the market in 24, and it went for, it's 2 duplexes, row type, $250,000 per. It's been on the market for a year, and they're down to $230, and they still can't sell it. That thing's been for sale for a long time. You go around
Which address, please?
201, 203, 205, 207, Southwest 2nd. And if you look at my property on, whatever, we can go one by one then. Okay, but that's the point I'm trying to make as far as comps go. The assessed values are extremely high. They're not reflective of the true market value. That's the point I'm trying to make with this data. And if you go to the cost analysis that I have, it's the larger sheet. And it's just simply what it costs to have a duplex. And I got utilities, lawn care, insurance, maintenance, pest control, cleaning, legal, accounting, property management, vacancy, and then taxes is the only variable I put in each and every one of those columns or each property. And basically, the higher the tax, the less the property's worth. But if you look at, and also it's based on $2,000 per month income for the property, which is $24,000. If you take income or the cost into the net income, it's a 5% return, 4.5 at best, all the way across the board. As far as an entity goes, that you, commercial property that you have, 4.6, not the best of returns. Whenever you put that kind of tax burden upon this, you know, if you got to borrow money, you're 2.5 upside down. You can't sell the thing at 4.6. It's taxed so high, you can't hardly sell these things. You can't sell it to an individual as another investment property, is my point.
You're saying that the net income over the cost yields this percent
Yes.
return, and that's what we would call like a capitalization rate or something? Is it?
That's your percent return on your dollar.
Yeah, cap rate or something like this?
Terminology, whatever.
Yeah, return on investment or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I have.
okay. And I know that there's a variety of ways to do this, not merely via comps, but you're saying, if I understand correctly, you showed us some comps, you think that the system that we're using is not correct,
I have empirical data to prove that.
and then also you're corroborating that with saying like, look, my returns are too low.
Yes,
And the sole movement is that the property taxes, in your opinion, are too high.
yes.
And
The
you
higher the
understand that
taxes, the less my investment's worth. I've got several, I know what duplexes are worth. These are not priced properly. I don't care what anybody says.
And you do
It's
understand
my personal
that
opinion.
our job, again, is assessed values to talk about whether or not it's a reasonable and fair and appropriate assessed value.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's kind of what I have.
Okay.
Any questions?
Give me, is there an instance of an increase that is greater than 5% on any of these that you're referring to, year over year?
Well, I haven't pushed any numbers like that.
Okay, so in the last one, it was 15,000 increase over, say, 250, which was approximately a 5.9%.
Okay, yeah, you go
increase.
to the bottom, you got the assessed value versus my appeal. The difference I have from my appeal to the assessed value is $13,400. And if you take 2% of that, I'm just asking for $268 on that property. That's all I'm asking. If you go to the next property, 205, 207, it's assessed at $294,000. I'm asking for $268, a difference of $26,000. 2% of that is $520. That's all I'm asking for that property. The next property, 107 and 109, that's the one that's right across the road or diagonal from the last duplex I showed you. It's been on the market for 2 years. She has it, or the assessor has it put at $291,000. That one over there is at 240, what is it, 240 something, and it's not sold in a year, or 250, it hasn't sold in a year, and mine's at 291. It's behind the donut shop, crappy neighborhood, and it's at 291. I'm asking for 245, a difference of 46,000, which that would equate to a $920 tax relief. If you go to 900, 910 Southwest 5th, I'm asking for nothing basically, $600, which is $12 when you put the 2% to it. Now, when you go to 912 Southwest 5th, that is half a duplex, a very different entity than a full duplex. One thing is somebody's going to live in it. They're going to get a mortgage rate, a house rate as far as borrowing money, and also they're going to get the mortgage tax exemption. So it's at a different price than a full duplex. One is bought, you know, for commercial, and one is bought to live in. So, and then we keep moving through there, you know, 317, asking 275, $2,000 difference, $854 difference. The 211 and 815 Northeast John, that's up by fire and safety. I did a remodel on that, and it's listed as I think a new build, but it's a total remodel. When I say that, I did change the square footage, but it's a remodel. And I'm simply asking, you know, for $48,000 difference. I turned a old piece of junk that's worth nothing into something. And so I'm asking for a, you know, a $48,000 difference, which is $964. My total asking change is $4,166. I don't think it's unreasonable. Been at this a long time. These are too high. They are just too high. My opinion.
Okay, Mr. Hart, if we could hear from, if you'd like to please be seated,
Okay.
if you're done. Hear from the assessor, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to speak to the system that Mr. Hart brought up to assess duplexes and row types. That is set by the state of Indiana. It is approved by the state of Indiana. It is across the board. All 92 counties use the same cost tables and the same system. With that being said, I hired Mr. Murray to put some comps together, and he can speak to that. And then I would like to go back and go over each of his appeals,
Sure.
because there are a few things I'd like to say about each one.
Sure.
About each one.
We're having a technical difficulty, and I think it's a very important piece of document. I only have one piece of it. I've missed a place of it, and Grant can't find his. Do you
Of
have,
what?
Mr. Murray, your, the breakdown of the properties like you did for the last client, or the last taxpayer?
This is what we're looking at?
Yeah,
Yep,
there'll be
yep, yep,
four.
Yep, sorry.
It's our fault, sorry.
I'll give you a copy.
Sorry about that.
The same one I got, the same one we got, this one.
There should have been two.
Oh, yeah.
In the new one should be 4 sheets.
Yes, that's what I thought.
2 sheets.
My fault.
Oh,
That's okay.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Is there 4 sheets there?
There's 5, sir.
That's,
1, 2, 3, I got 4.
I've
And
got
she
5.
just gave me
I must have given you one too many.
I have what I think is 4 identical
oh,
documents here.
these are, let's back up. Thank you. Let's do this real quick.
Sorry, I had them organized.
Okay, we're,
All good. And just, if it's okay, just as a point of order, anytime if an appealing party wishes to present something to the board, that's great, but please have at least 3 for the 3 of us, and then also 1 or 2 for the assessor, and then of course 1 for yourself.
It's almost 11.
Okay? We will probably be here for a little bit. If we'd have known that, we would have moved you up. So,
He originally thought his appointment was at 10.
Well, you need to go where you need to go, and we'll hear it when we hear it. Is that acceptable? I mean,
After your appointment, do you want to come back or see if we're still here?
Usually my appointments don't take very long.
how long?
15.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah, come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, we've received some documents from Mr. Hart, and as I mentioned earlier, anytime someone presents us with those, I'd like them to also present the assessor with the same information. And anytime we get information from the assessor, I would like the assessor to also present that to the taxpayer.
Okay, go ahead. That's okay. Yeah, we're okay.
Please proceed.
I'm going to present, excuse me, data again, raw data. I'm going to attempt to not give you an opinion. I'm going to attempt to go over the raw data. And I'll say now, if I speak and mention a duplex, I mean row type. I'm an appraiser on the other side, and to me, they're kind of, a duplex is either up and down or beside each other. So, but we're dealing with row type now, side by side. If you can go to your sheet that starts with 4C, Cindy K. Drive, please. Those are 7 sales of.
I'm gonna pause for a second. I don't have that. He's got it.
I think
Okay.
they're getting all
That's
mixed
okay.
up.
I've got it now.
That's 7 sales of one side of a row type only. All pretty close to the same square footage.
That's the 1134.
Yes. And you can see the average shows $142. Below that are 2 more duplex, one side of a row type, but those are much larger, so I called them outliers. All I did in the bottom on the comparison was take that 141 against the square footages of 5 of Mr. Hart's. That's all I did there. I have, we didn't get a copy made, but let me go to a sheet that you don't have. In a sheet that you don't have, I was able to find 5 total row types that sold. Now help think with me. 5 total row types that sold. Both sides sold. And when you look at those 5 sales, 3 of them are really old, being the property is old. And there's one that is similar to Mr. Hart's, and it sold for $132 a square foot, or about 7 to 10% less. So I want to make this clear again.
Is that on the sheet that starts off the 4C Cindy K Drive?
No,
Okay.
no, you don't have this sheet.
But 132 is
We can get you this sheet.
okay. 132 is the number I see.
132-ish is the number, and that's for a entire row type selling. Not half of it, the whole thing. Okay? Then you should have 2 sheets. The first one says gross income both sides. Mr. Hart presented some income data,
Different way to do it, correct?
and really I'm going to make this a little easier. I gave you 2 sheets of a bunch of income data that I went out and found and tried to put it into a format. The sheet that I just last handed you, one single sheet, Crystal uses Nexus, a company to do her commercial assessments. I reached out to, talking about the sheet that's got like 6 lines on it, 7 lines that starts out PGI. And I didn't, would give Mr. Hart one of these, I did not. So I reached out to Nexus, and I thought maybe it'd be better for you to hear what Nexus has to say and not what Kim Murray came up with. So Nexus, last night, Brad, who works in our county, gave me this sheet. And essentially what this sheet does is takes that income, his figures, and applies it down and comes up with an indicated value. Plus, the state also likes to use what's called a gross rent multiplier.
This is in the middle of that sheet, that third sheet, and it says, it starts out with 5.00 cap rate, correct?
Nope, I'm talking now, this sheet right here.
This one.
Yes.
Yes, that's the sheet Nexus just prepared.
And this says in the middle, applying 7 to 9% loaded cap rate, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And this is strictly on an income,
Strictly income, nothing but income.
and so the state of Indiana, this is law, like Nexus, this is what the state says for the assessor to do on a duplex, or how does this,
No.
Another
this-
way to assess things.
that's another, okay.
Right. So,
Income versus comps, essentially.
Yes.
right,
Okay.
correct. And therefore, what Nexus is saying here is, as a fact, there it is. Plus, they like using a gross rent multiplier, and that is doing nothing more than taking a sale price divided by your income to come up with a multiplier. And he evidently likes to use the multiplier of 100. And if I think Mr. Hart said, and I could be wrong, 1,000 a month, 24,000 a year. Yeah. So if you did the gross rent multiplier, it's 24,000 times 100.
You think that's reasonable? 24,000 times 100 to come up with a value? Is that a proposed way to do it?
That is a standard way. Yes, that is the standard.
Okay. And to ask the question too, the range that we have here is 7 to 9% loaded cap rate in the middle of that sheet, right? And on Mr. Hart's sheet, he was showing us that he's at a 4 to 5% cap rate. Correct? It's the same, but it's the same idea. The capitalization rate is a number of income received. It's just another way to do it. It's the income received divided by the value equals a capitalization rate. It's essentially a rate of return, a capitalization rate. Same thing, correct? So what this would mean is if it's a 7% cap rate in the middle there, that would be, say, $7,000 net return over $100,000 in value. That's what a 7% cap rate is.
The formula for cap rate.
What I just said. Yeah. So,
But a loaded cap rate has your tax rate figured in.
okay.
That's when it's called loaded, and he's calling it a loaded rate that has your tax rate figured into a loaded.
You have to take your taxes off to arrive at a net income number, correct? I mean, when you're calculating your return. So we're talking about the same thing. I just want to make sure we're comparing apples to apples. We're talking about a loaded cap rate across the board. He's saying his return is 4 to 5%. We're saying here that an appropriate range is 7 to 9. And so he's saying, well, it's too low, I think. I'm not making enough money on these because my taxes are too high, which we're not concerned about taxes, we're concerned about assessments. But I just want to make sure that we're talking about the exact same thing, apples to apples.
No, you're not.
Okay?
A loaded tax rate that Nexus is talking about, loaded includes taxes. So let me back up. I haven't looked at Mr. Hart's real good. If his includes taxes, then yes, he is looking at a loaded rate if he is included his taxes.
I'm going to present you with this.
I didn't look at it real good,
That's
so.
okay. Nor have I. I think we're talking about the same thing.
And I would agree with you. He has put his taxes into his expenses. So his rate would be what's called a loaded rate also.
Yeah. So the loaded cap rate is what he's calling here on his sheet a percent return. But my question to him earlier was, is this what we're talking about as a cap rate? Because that's kind of a term of art within the industry. It just means a capitalization rate. And it's just another way to assess something. Like when I'm trying to figure out what something's worth, I'll look at what it yields. I can also look at comps, whatever else. Usually, just to push back on Mr. Hart, I would say you would only do that in buildings that are 4 units and up, which we don't have a lot of those. And 4-ish and below, you'd use more the comps. Okay.
Agree.
So I'm gonna know, I guess, what's your, that's just what I've read as a standard. Just a second. I want to know what the comps then would say, because what you have in your sheet is that a loaded cap rate would be 7 to 9% would be appropriate. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then what would your comps say that appropriate values are for each of these?
We gave you comps.
Okay.
We talked about that on the first sheet.
And this is where we're thinking about a square footage basis for each of these, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
A couple of points I'd like to make.
Understood.
Is when you assess them together, the assessments are coming up higher than when you sell them. When you sell them together, like in Mr. Hart's, what he's saying as an investor, if he wants to sell them both, yes, the values are not there. But when you sell them separately, which a large percentage of the time is how we get the comps, they sell one side and they sell the other side. That is where we're coming up with the comps. When you sell one side or the other, our numbers are, if anything, low. I will give you.
I like the idea of using an income approach. If we could kind of focus on that, because I think the taxpayer is approaching it that way. And so I'm not saying that we have to do that, but that sort of makes sense to me. It's different than maybe the first appeal that we had where we're just talking about like comps.
I think you have to look at it all. You have to look
Sure.
at it all.
And it has to make sense together. Okay.
Okay. I don't think you can.
So I have one question. This sheet, Crystal, ma'am, this was prepared by Nexus.
Those values were given to us by Nexus. Yes.
So this is what Nexus says how they would approach
Correct.
on the income, which is a duplex or row type.
Correct.
Back up this lingo. So a row type duplex, this isn't necessarily your opinion or Mr. Murray's.
I agree.
You agree,
I agree with their figures.
but so this is being, by Nexus has prepared this for you to give to us.
Correct.
Okay, I wanted to clarify that.
So I would like to go over each of his appeals, like I mentioned earlier, because there are a couple things that I'd like to concede on, in Mr. Hart's favor. And, hopefully make him a little happier.
Crystal, if I may, could you tell the audience who Nexus is? We're throwing this lingo
Oh,
out.
Nexus is a professional assessing company that we have hired in this county to do all of our commercial industrial assessing, reassessment, appeals, all of it.
To help you, basically.
Help us. Okay. Let's go to 911 and 913 Southwest 5th Street. Mr. Hart says that the neighborhood is too high. I looked into that. We have it at 1.68. Like I mentioned earlier, the neighborhoods were set 30 years ago, 25 to 30 years ago. And when those were set in that on that particular street, that particular area, the line went pretty much right across north of your property, I believe. Yeah, I believe it went north. It went right across there. So looking at his appeal, I do understand where he's coming from with that. That particular neighborhood should probably be 1.44. So on that appeal, I went ahead and made that adjustment.
This is 911 to 913.
911 and 913.
Southwest 5th Street. The current assessment is 317,700, correct?
Yes.
And what do you now say it should be?
I think it should be 277,100. And he was asking for 275, so I think that would, if I concede that point, I think
Okay.
that would take
Do we
care
have a
of that.
motion? Do we have a motion on this particular property, 911 and 913 Southwest 5th Street, that we should assess this at 277,100? Is there a motion on that? Just a second. Do we have a motion on the board that this particular one, 911 and 913 Southwest 5th Street, we previously, before today, we'd assessed it at 317,700. Mr. Hart had asked about 275. Ms. Osby is saying 277,100, which seems reasonable. Do I have a motion to proceed with that recommendation from Ms. Osby? I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion about 277,100? All those in, 272,100 is what you're recommending?
Yes.
My mistake. The motion I'm making is at 272,100 for the assessment of 911 and 913 Southwest 5th. I'm making a motion. I think I have a second. We'll have a roll call vote on that specific amount.
Please.
Ms. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Tooley.
Yes.
I'll also vote yes. Unanimous, 272,100, which is the assessor's recommendation. Thank you.
Correct.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, I'd like to go to 90, I think that says 908 Southwest 5th.
It's facing direction to be 211 John and 918 South.
No, 908
908 and 910
910 and
Southwest 5th is
912.
what you're,
Yeah, that's the one I want to go to next. Yeah. I would also like to concede in that Mr. Hart's appeal stated that what happened was there are two row types. One unit sold. When you do that, the computer system makes that unit that's left into a single family res. Single family res are higher than a row type.
I'm just for his clarity, 208, 210 Southwest 5th, correct?
908, 910, 912, Southwest 5th.
My apologies, but it's assessed 240, 600, and he's asked for 240? The assessment's
He has asked for, it is assessed at 400,900. He is asking for 360,000.
Your sheet,
It's, you guys got the numbers.
we're not talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Are we talking about 912?
No, we were on.
908,
Talking about all three of them, 908, 910, and 912. That's how the appeal is filed. But yes, I'm lumping them together because they're all on one parcel. Okay?
On the
So
sheet-
parcel number 14 10 34 203 048 000 017.
Yeah.
and
Those two are together on the assessor sheet.
okay. So that's the same as this. So it
Everybody
would
with
be
me?
Yep.
240, 600, and 151, 400. Are those the assessments?
The total assessment is 400,900. Got that? You're following me? Okay, there were 3 units. Let me back up and explain it. There were, a row type is 2 units together. There were two units, so 4 units total. One of the units sold. It left a single. Okay? When you leave a single, it is then assessed as a single family res instead of half of a row type. Okay, the computer system does not allow you to do that. Mr. Hart brought that up. I will concede that that should have been assessed as a single unit. And the only way that I can get that down, so each one of these units, if you look at the improvement value of the 2 units together, is 240,600, which is 120,000 each unit. Originally, the single unit was at 151,000. I will concede that that should be assessed as a half of a duplex, and we'll give that some obsolescence to bring that down to get it here somewhere. There's too many papers. That will bring down that third unit to 118,100.
Okay.
So brings
And
down the
that's-
total to 363,800.
Okay, and so the request that we had in front of us, it was at 151, 400 on that specific one. The request was for 120, so I'll entertain a motion that it's per her recommendation and the request of the taxpayer, that it be $118,000. Is that correct?
I think that you have to go total assessment, not unit assessment. I think you have to go, he requested 369, and we will be at
63.
363.
So I'll
Eight.
I'll request that motion of 363,800, correct? Do I have a motion on the floor?
Second.
Any discussion at 363,800? If not, we'll entertain a roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Tooley, and I'll make that unanimous. 363, 800. Make sense? Okay.
Okay,
Next one.
next one. 815 Northeast Third Street. This is parcel number 14 10 27 103 040 000 017. You'll see it as Helbenstein Second, Lot 61. You guys have that in front of you?
I think so.
On that one.
I just don't know where.
I know.
Here.
On
There's a lot of stuff.
815 Northeast Third.
Okay.
Is it on this?
Look at your, go to your appeal.
Oh, they're right here.
Northeast Third.
Go to your appeal.
815 Northeast Third, that's also 211 John, is that correct? Okay. Just so I'm,
Okay.
clear, it's assessed at 248, 200. That's the that was the assessment? Is that correct, Ms. Osby?
Let me get my papers here. 248,200.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Hart, I would like to concede that after reviewing, he did say that it was an old garage that he remodeled. When we assessed those, we assessed them as brand new, and not a garage remodel. So,
What do you believe it should be now?
a garage remodel.
Okay, and what
And
number?
so I believe it should be 219,500. And it was 231,300.
And your basis for that is because it was an old garage that had been remodeled?
And so what we do then is give it an effective age. There's a formula that we figure how much of the building is old versus how much is new. The formula then gives you an age, an effective age, and then we apply that instead of the whole thing being brand new. So that's what we did. And we come up with 219,500.
219,500 is what you're suggesting?
Yes.
That is the total, it's
And that takes that into consideration.
a remodel. It was 86,000.
I'm gonna do a cap rate calculation real quick on this and just come up with, so you've reflected on your sheet that it's $11,975 that you're netting on this particular property. Does that make sense? That's what it says on your sheet. That's 7%. That would put the assessment at 171. I'm gonna do 9%.
So if you took Nexus's highest cap rate, a loaded cap rate, that's what that comes up to, you said?
Yeah. So, you know, if it's 9%, if it's a lower value, because what you're doing is you're dividing the net income by a number. So let's take 11,975, divide that by 0.06. That puts it right around $200,000, which is what the request was, and Miss Osby is conceding that she thinks it should now be 219,500. So for the sake of math discussion, we're talking about probably between, you know, if it's 6% cap, lower than what Nexus is saying, that's about 200. So she's saying more like a, let's see, 220. Times 0.05 is the 11,000 number again. So it's between a 5 and 6% cap rate is what we're looking at, where Nexus is suggesting 7 and 9. I'm just saying. So what questions do we have for the assessor at this point? Because I do think we're now talking about apples to apples, and that is super helpful, at least for me to understand it. So thank you. Do I have a motion at some number? Do I have a motion at 219,500, which is the recommendation?
I'll motion.
You'll make that motion?
Yep.
Second on the motion?
I'm just, if their formula is coming up to what?
Their formula would put it under 200, but, you know, we do have to look at the
Sure,
whole thing. He's
sure,
not even
sure.
asking for less than 200.
No.
So he's asking for 200, and we're essentially saying 219.
I'm saying 219.
Well, just a second. We're gonna take it a full picture. Miss,
You know.
I'll make a motion close to that 219. I'll say $215,000, which is close to what you're suggesting and more than what he is suggesting. And I don't have a great guide for you, but I think 200 is too low personally.
So your motion is to what?
My recommendation is $215,000 as an assessed value. Is there any seconds?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion about 215,000 as an assessed value? Roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Tooley?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous. $215,000. Let's go to the next one, please.
The next one is 107 Sycamore Street.
That's 107 and 109, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I do not have anything to concede on that parcel. That comes up to $141,050 per unit.
So the comment is that this has been for sale for a long time, and, okay.
60,000 over, and it's just
I would say, one thing I would like to bring to your attention is that in 2024, I worked with Mr. Hart, and we changed all row type across the board in the whole county from C+1s and grade all row types to a C-1, which is quite a bit difference. Because I do believe that they're not as I think the market is smaller for people wanting to buy duplexes. I do believe that. So in efforts to bring those values down, we, across the board, the entire county, took all duplexes, row types, to C-1s. I would like for you to acknowledge that that has already been done across the board.
Good to know.
291. And could I make a point earlier that they were talking about whenever you sell half a duplex, they classify it differently and worth more. And the comps that they had presented were all half duplexes. So it's not apples to apples, but the comps shouldn't even apply.
My comps were for half duplexes, and I was assessing half duplexes.
I've got full duplexes.
Each unit is sold separately.
I sold it, I built them and sold them. I don't know what all this is, but you said whenever you purchased it.
Just a second, Mr. Hart, just a second. It's helpful if we can hear exactly from the person who's at the podium, because then we can capture that for the record. Sometimes in these meetings, if we've got people in the audience, it doesn't pick up anything. And so, you know, if anybody's watching or if we're looking at this later, we can't capture the information. So ideally, we let Miss Osby present, and then there will be an opportunity, if desired, to talk about these ones where we still have disagreements. If that's acceptable.
Property, I get up there and talk, or do we do it at the end
Well,
before you pass?
so good question. We were talking about it kind of as a group. The assessor conceded on the first three, but I think this one, there's no concession. So what I would like personally is for the assessor to present us their best case, and then we'll give you an opportunity to come back up there, if that's okay.
I'm gonna give you some comps that I got in comparison to. So one side. What one side sold for, when it sold, how much it sold for. And then the subject property. I would say a large majority of them sell one side at a time. So I think where he and I disagree is that two selling together, the value is not the same as two selling separately. And I understand that, but you as a board now get to make that decision. What are we going to do?
And Miss Osby, is this two together right now? We're talking about a duplex that's
This
got
one
both
here,
sides.
this one is, yes,
And you're recommending that it's assessed at $291, is that right?
correct.
Okay. It makes sense. The whole is at times greater than the sum of the parts.
And I do agree with that. But they sell all the time, one unit at a time.
Yeah, and so say it's assessed at 300, oftentimes that single side might sell for 160, right?
Correct.
Where we're trying to decide, well, what's reasonable to assess the whole thing at? And it may, when they sell individually, they may sell
They
for
bring
for
more.
more than half
They bring
of
more
the total
than
assessment.
what they do,
Correct? Okay,
both sides.
so board, we have the recommendation of 291. The value that's being requested for Mr. Hart is 245, is that correct? Ms. Osby, did you have anything else that you want to say about this one?
No, other than again, in 24, we brought it from a C+1 to a C-1.
Okay, so you've worked on this one before. Mr. Hart? Please step up. Yeah. I'll talk about it. But, I don't know, but I was looking at these and I'm not
Other than, that's right behind the donut shop there. 291, the houses adjacent to it, used to own them, both sides of it. It's not worth that. It's not even come close. If you looked at that last duplex, it's been for sale on the market, catty corner from there. I think it's at 230 right now, right? They can't get it. You got 60,000 over.
That's what it's being, trying to be sold for, is
Yes,
230?
that last page you look at on, I think it's Southwest Second. It's the very last page of the comps.
This?
No,
This,
that right there.
Yeah, I mean, that
Yes,
sheet,
that.
the last page.
Yes, the last
your-
page of that, yes. That is the one, it is catty corner from it. And it's been for sale longer than that. That's just the latest listings over the last year. 3 years ago, Elder built it, the guy.
So if I may ask Mr. Murray a question here, and not to throw anybody under the table. Our taxes are based on market price. Comparing apples to apples, this duplex here that's on, what street is that?
Second.
Sycamore.
Second Street, is, if you were driving by as an appraiser, is that comparing apples to apples? That duplex on Second compared to his duplex on Sycamore? Drive-by shooting, pardon that analogy, if you're, and I know that's how commercial bankers do some things, if you're looking aesthetic-wise, because it is market correct, do you think that is comparable to his as far as a duplex, as far as look, aesthetic, quality? Do you have the picture? No?
I mean, I would say yes. Now, I don't know the sizes, but I mean, the neighborhood that are a block to 2 blocks apart, both south of the track.
So your position is that it's a comparable to this one that he's referring to?
Would be, I mean, it's in the same neighborhood. His is probably, I don't know the age, his is a little.
I think probably built in 18.
So, I mean, we're 7 years versus 3 years. Don't know the sizes, but I would say that if they were both for sale, if they were both the same size, they would compete against each other.
If an investor was looking to get the return on their investment.
What is the square footage for this one, this last page? Do you happen to know?
No.
On Second Street.
Second.
On Southwest Second. Because if they are comparable, maybe we look at, I know we've been looking at the cap rate scenario, but maybe on this one, we need to look at a comp scenario, square footage basis. And that's this document? The colorful one?
That's the one that I gave you.
This one is.
I would like to go back to this comp thing. That doesn't apply. It does not apply. I built those duplexes they're talking about. They're using for comps. I built them and sold them. It does not apply to a full duplex. It's a hypothetical.
Well, I think what Mr. Grant was getting at is comparable to that one on.
Well, no, she pointed to the
Well, I think what he's.
comps. Those are not comparables. I gave you true comparables. In good neighborhoods. That's not a good neighborhood. Sycamore is not a good neighborhood.
Do we have access to see what the square footage would be on this Second Street one? Probably somebody on GIS or something.
I can look it up real quick.
I think that's what you were getting at, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's just sort of my thought. It makes sense that when you're looking at it as a whole, it's probably lower than if 2 pieces are sold off. Okay? So let's look at it as a whole. And everybody is in agreement that Southwest Second is a comparable property. It's taking me a little to look this up. On Southwest Second Street. That's owned by Mr. Racinos.
Elder Racinos.
The square footage. They look to be 864 square foot on a side. So is that Does that sound right? 864 times 2?
He's probably about 9, and probably about 11, about 200 square feet difference probably.
No,
Each
we're-
unit.
We're trying to find the square foot is divided by what the sale price is what we're trying, I think is what Mr. Grant.
So 864 times 2 is what I understand then to be the square footage of this duplex on Southwest Second Street.
Yeah, and it has not sold. That's not the sale price.
Understood. I'm gonna come up with the square footage basis, just based on what it's priced. So that would be 230,000 divided by 1720, which is, square footage basis is 133, is what, and that's if it's sold, right? If it's sold at 230, it would be 133. So, and what's the square footage of this one,
Oh, it's right here.
Probably about
on
11.
107, 109? What's the square footage?
1,432.
2432.
So that puts it well over $300,000. So that's maybe the problem that we're running into. There's not great ways to do this. Comps doesn't really make sense, maybe, nor does the, in my opinion, on this one, I'm not sure that it even makes sense on like an income basis, a cap rate basis, because it makes it too low. Okay, so we're at 291 assessment, and the request is that this be at 245. I don't know that we've got great ways to think through this, but what's the opinion of the board?
What's your thoughts?
What was the assessment last year?
But he's going
This year it's 291. Do we happen to know what? 282?
because this one was this much.
And did Mr. Hart appeal the assessment at 282?
And his is that.
No. Is that what he's going by?
It's not comparable,
So it's an increase of just over 3% from 282?
right?
Mm-hmm.
So like this one is only.
Okay, and the
1,728
282,
square foot.
then what was the reassessment?
This is 2,000. That's bigger.
Okay. So it's at 3.2% more than it was last year, which, my understanding is that Mr. Hart appealed the 300 some odd assessment. He came and talked with you, and we moved it to 282,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which, is approximately 3% less than the 291. When there's a comparable sitting there for 230 and it hasn't sold, that does make me think that 291 is a little bit high, but I don't know that it's a lot. I personally don't feel like 291 is really high if we were last year at 282 and everyone was somewhat happy with that. And it's so Mr. Hart was not happy with this, I mean, because it was way too high and it came to be then, in his opinion, too high.
And there was no concession last time. It was that they were calling duplexes two-story instead of one story. It was a glitch in the computer program. There was no concession. It was a correction.
I'm gonna,
The concession was from C plus one to C minus one. The glitch was the duplex to a prototype. I did concede on the grade from C plus one to C minus one. Because I do believe that prototypes very much so, when you're selling both units, bring the market down.
I do understand. I know where this particular one is. I understand it's by the donut shop and it's not maybe in the ideal location. I don't know that I would see a lot of people buying it at $291,000, just say that. But I don't think that it's, in my opinion, it's not too high. I'll make a motion at $282,000 as far as assessed value.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? At $282,000 was essentially the assessment from last year. Do a
282, 100.
Is it one?
200, okay, I'm gonna revise that motion to make it specifically what it was last year, 282,100. And do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Let's do a roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Tooley?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous. Okay, next one, please.
Next one, 401 and 403 Southeast Third.
Yes.
Also draw your attention to, we conceded C+1 to C-1 on that one in 2024. It is assessed at $243,400. That is 120, 121 per side, per unit.
Square footage is 1,998, is that correct? Approximately 2,000. So the one that we just talked about was around 2,400. This one's more like 2,000. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Discussion or questions for the assessor? What was it assessed at last year? Again, please. This year it's 243,400.
233,300. $233,300. So it's about a $10,000 increase in assessed value. And the reason that I find that to be important, just for the board, is because I do want to know if it's a more or a less than a 5% increase. When it's a more than a 5% increase, I personally will put more on the assessor to explain why it's gone up more than 5%. That's also in case law, that's The burden of proof is on the assessor when it's over 5%.
correct. Okay, this is
What
just
percentage
under
is it?
5. This is just under 5%. And what questions do you all have, if any, for Mr. Osby?
I do not.
Did this also one get informally appealed?
Yeah, last year, yes.
Okay.
I personally think the assessor's right on the 5%.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Mr. Tooley's making a motion on 243,400.
Second.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Tooley?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous. Next one, please.
And last one, I believe, is 205 Campbell Hill Road. It's at 294. It was at 283.9. We conceded the grade change last year, and he was given a 10% obsolescence on this property because of the location of Don Gress's. We had several people appeal in that area because of the noise and the dust that Gress's is causing back there. A lot of the neighbors come to me. I gave them across the board 10% obsolescence. This property was also given 10%.
So the request on from the taxpayer is 268,000, and your recommendation is that it stays at the 294. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Hart, do you have anything that you would like to add to this? Just a second, you've been successful on many of these, so. Anything that you would like to add to it? My thought, 294,000 on Campbell Hill for a duplex is high. I mean, even
What is that per unit? What's
divided by 2, what is
Yeah.
that,
What is-
145, 140?
145?
147?
What are they selling for per unit?
I don't know.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any motions on the floor? The delta here is approximately $26,000. Do you like Mr. Hart's recommendation of 268? Do you like 294? Or something in between?
So did the other neighbors, Crystal,
I would add that he asked for an additional 10% obsolescence for a total of 20%. I'm not sure why. He didn't add that on his appeal. So you need to.
What was the assessment last year, please?
183,900.
I've got a motion. If nobody else wants to make one, I'll make the motion at 280,000 on this specific one.
Why you're coming up with 280?
It,
I mean, you just came up with a number off the top of your head.
the market, in my opinion, is really slow relative to this type of thing.
Where are you coming up with your number?
I think it's, I think it would sell for approximately $280,000, probably less than that. So it's a market number, is my opinion. A subjective evaluation.
and also if the one which is a stone's throw away, and I know it's not in Campbell Hill, has been on the market for 230, that makes this property 50,000 more, and they are in like comparisons. The one that I had asked Mr. Murray on his opinion. I do agree, this one is in a,
I just think that you have to justify
yeah.
your value.
so,
Okay.
so I guess that would be,
I just don't
yeah,
want you to throw out value of
Yeah.
just saying,
So-
well, I'll just negotiate.
so,
I think you have to.
yeah. So in my opinion, I think that's how I would come up with it, and I'm just one member, is you have that house, that duplex rather, that's been on the market for 230. It might take 220 to 219 to get rid of it. So in like comparisons, we're giving this duplex an upgrade of $60,000. So I think that's where we do come up with our comparisons, in my opinion, of 280.
The average assessed value on the GP Hart subject properties is $141,000 approximately. Again, my motion is for $280,000 assessed value on this particular one. The current recommendation from the assessor is 291, and the request is at 245. My motion is at 280.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion at this specific number? Do a roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Tooley?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous, 3-0, at 280,000. Next one, please. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order on that specific one? Good? Thank you. Wow, this is real live work. This is tough. Okay. Next, we have Mr. William Curtis.
282, 100.
Mr. Curtis? Okay.
72, you're right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. William Fisher. And are you already sworn in, sir? Okay, please step to the podium. You state your name and address for the record, please?
William C. Fisher, 1014 Robinson Street, here in town.
And what's your current assessment, sir?
This assessment that I got was 158,100 for 2025.
158,100 is what you've been assessed at, is that correct?
Let me put I think it's 150. Yeah, 156.
156,100.
Yeah.
Sir, do you happen to know what you were assessed at last year?
It says the previous assessment was 129,100.
Okay. And this assessment of 156,100, and what do you believe the assessment should be?
Well, I don't think it should be a penny more than what it was previously, because, you know, this house was built in 1912, and it hasn't had any work done to it in 20 years, probably.
Okay. Delta, 156 and 129, approximately $27,000 difference. I'm doing the math right. Does that sound right, guys? 156. So it's a 17% increase. And why don't you think it should be assessed more than the 129?
Well, it shouldn't be assessed any more than that because there hasn't been any improvements to that property, or the surrounding property is, you know, a lot of that stuff isn't in very good shape to start with. So I don't know what the surrounding stuff is assessed at, but, you know.
Thank you. Anything else does the board have any questions for Mr. Fisher?
On here, it's got about the forest base rate. Is it like if it's got trees and all that,
Got what?
like trees, and are you on a,
It's a corner lot there at 1014 Robinson Street,
Okay.
corner of
how come that's on there?
Robinson and 10th Street.
Okay.
There's 2 lots.
2 lots.
This is your primary residence, is that
Oh,
correct?
yes.
Why it had that. So is this the price for 2 lot? Is it the? There's 2 houses on 2 lots, and it's on one thing? Okay. Oh, that's different.
So there's currently 2 homes on there.
2 homes, 2 lots.
So the spreadsheet, whoever did it did a wonderful job, but this is the sales of just one home? Is that what that is? Is the other home inhabitable, or is it just
The
storage?
actual house is not, it's not livable.
So it's just,
Yeah, the one that was built in 1912 is not livable right now.
so is there electricity or water in that home?
There is electricity to it, but the only thing that's hooked up to is a sump pump.
So do you use it for storage or something?
Yeah, use it for storage.
What do you think your house would sell for, Mr. Fisher?
I'm guessing maybe 100,000, 110. I doubt if I could get that much out of it, out of all of it.
What do we currently have as like the condition of the property?
On the house that he is saying it's not average.
It looks average. It looks all right on the outside, but if you get inside of it, it's, you know, it's in really poor condition.
I'd like the opportunity to.
Sure. Board, do we have any other questions for Mr. Fisher before we let the assessor speak?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Cosby?
A couple things. First of all, Mr. Fisher, I'm sorry that we had to drag you down here. I did try to get a hold of you several different ways. I tried to call and email. I just wanted you to know that I would have worked with you personally on this had I been able to get a hold of you, but I couldn't, and I attempted several times. So I'm sorry we drug you down here for that. My advice, my recommendation is that you would table this one and have Mr. Murray go down and look at the condition of the second house, because we do have an average. If it's not habitable, that could change the value drastically. And, you know, obviously we wouldn't know that without Mr. Fisher's input. So
Okay.
that's what
so
I believe.
The recommendation is that we table this from the assessor for the time being, which I think is perhaps reasonable. It sounds like the parties were trying to communicate with one another and that they haven't been able to do that up to this point. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that correct, Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, this notice that
Okay. Well, how about this?
And he may not have,
Yeah.
but I send those notices, return receipt requested, just so I know that they did get the notice.
Sure.
But I did try to reach out,
Sure.
and that's protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on my phone, if I get phone numbers, I don't have any of that.
Okay. Mr. Fisher,
understand.
what is your preferred phone number, just for the record? Yeah.
259.
Yes?
That's the only
Yes, sir. 2590477. You live there at 1014 Robinson Street. Is that correct? And Ms. Osby, your preferred phone number would be what?
812-254-8660.
8660. Very good.
If you was calling me, what phone number would you?
I used the number. Oh, you want to know what my phone number is?
If you tried to call me, what number would show up on my phone?
I believe it would be the 812-254-8660.
And Mr. Fisher, it sounds like the recommendation is that we table this for the time being. You two get together, Mr. Murray will look at it, and then there'll be hopefully we have a meeting of the minds, and if not, we can come back and do this again. Do I have a motion to table this specific one, and for the assessor to work with the taxpayer to resolve this dispute?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call vote? Ms.
Yep.
Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Tooley?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, very good. Okay, next one is Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard, are you already sworn in?
I do think I missed that.
Okay, if you don't mind, step up to the podium, we're gonna swear you in. Okay,
I don't have anything else.
oh, the exemption.
Oh,
That's a-
okay,
Okay, sorry.
okay.
That's not an appeal, that's an exemption, so we will get to that. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, you see Douglas Howard?
Yes.
Do you swear, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And the assessor is already sworn in. And if you don't mind, sir, please explain why you're here today.
I'm here for strictly just 600 East Main Street. I should have came the last time, I think, that it went up, but it just seems like it's went up a lot. I could just give you a little bit of a historical comparison to the house straight across the street from me. Okay, so myself and my former wife, we bought this place where I live, and I've lived there the whole time in 1995. Paid $110,000 for it. The one straight across the street went up for sale right after that for $99,000. It ended up selling for $90,000. Today, they're both well maintained, with no structural changes. Just seems way off whenever the one across the street from me, oh, let's see, I think it's $85,300 and mine's a little over $300,000 now. That's going to be the gist of it. I mean, I could do some other neighborhood comparisons. Like I say, I've lived there for over 30 years.
You've lived at 600 East Main Street for over 30 years?
Yes, February 1995 is when I moved in. 603 East Main Street. Now, Trinkle's bought it for $90,000 shortly after we. Trinkle. Yes, it's a rental.
So this is a little bit unique, Mr. Howard, in that you live in this building and you rent out the units, is that
No.
correct, or no?
No.
You do not live there?
Yeah.
Oh, you do live there. It's just your house.
The one he's comparing it to.
Ah, I see. My apologies.
Now, that being said, mine was set up to be a rental. I don't rent anything out of it. It was remodeled in 1938.
So you were generating no income
No.
from this particular property.
No.
So do you believe that an appropriate way to assess this and figure it out is via comps?
Yes, I mean, that's what I just did, was compared the price of what that one sold across the street.
But that's not a comparable property. So it's not, I don't know that I would call it a comp, is my point.
Well, comp in the fact that it sold in late 90s, or, after 95, I don't know, probably 96.
Do you happen to know, your current assessment for this year is at $291,400, is that right?
Correct.
And
The house, yeah.
what was it last year? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, I can dig it up here real quick. 273,300.
And you made the comment earlier that I should have come in earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think I should have came in when it was at 273.3. I mean, it just seems way out of line. I mean, it's an old house. It's not had any updates. It's got a 1938 boiler for the furnace. That's when it was remodeled. It was extensively remodeled in 1938 by a congressman. It was set up to be apartments. I think he thought whenever he moved out, it would be apartments. There's 6 toilets in the place. I mean, there's 4 bathrooms, 2 half baths.
How many square footage is this again, sir?
46-ish, somewhere around there.
4,600?
Yeah.
Not 46,000.
No.
Okay, 4,600 square foot. Big house. Are you the only person that lives there?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else to question Mr. Howard right now? This is correct. It's 18,000 increase in assessed value.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
if I sold it, it would be sold as an apartment building. I've
Approximately a
already been
6.5% increase. Does that make sense? Mr. Howard, if you don't mind, is that not right?
approached. Leave the podium.
Just a second. We may have more questions for you, but I'm going to let the assessor speak.
Oh, your phone, his phone. This was another one that I did try to get a hold of you also, just for the record, that I did try to call you and email you, but we weren't able to connect, so, we would have tried to work on that informally. Couple things. I think he misspoke. His actual total assessment last year was $282,400. The 273 is for the improvement only. That didn't include the land, so his actual total is 282,400.
Okay, I wanna make sure we've got that
I was
right.
talking about the structure.
Yeah.
The 291 is what we were
Yeah,
Okay,
comparing to the land.
yeah. I just want to make sure
What's the-
that we understand.
yeah, Ms. Osby, what's the current assessment total?
300,500.
300,500, and what was it last year, please?
282,400.
So it's approximately an $18,000 delta, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and explain why this should be assessed at, in your opinion, is it your opinion that it should be assessed at 300,500, or did you want to have more time to communicate with Mr. Howard and look at that, or what are your thoughts?
I believe that the assessment's correct, and Mr. Murray has some comparables to go over and share with you.
Mr. Murray?
You should have a spreadsheet, I think.
Is that this document, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Should be 9 sales. I
And
went in and
Don't mind, will you make sure that Mr. Howard also has that same document? Is that possible?
I don't have an extra.
You can have mine,
Here,
Mr.
that's
Howard.
okay.
If you,
That's okay, we're okay. I did 9 sales from 2024, tried to pick the largest square footage places that I could. Didn't worry about neighborhoods, conditions, strictly the numbers. And I think the numbers average out to $74 a square foot. Take his square footage times $74, it should give you a figure there. I think that figure's
11,
thank you,
311,000 is what the math would bear out, correct?
correct,
Or maybe the range is 311 to 307, is that right?
fair enough.
Okay.
Believe.
And you've got it assessed at 300,500. Have you looked at the structure? Is it in good shape?
I did. I drove by.
Okay.
It's a beautiful historical place. I can't speak to the interior, but on the exterior, it's definitely, we've got it graded a C-1. It's definitely a C-1 or above. I've got the condition as average. One thing that he brought up was the sale prices. Those were in the 90s. Both of those sales were in the 90s.
4162.
Yeah, well, but I'm
You put
comparing
26.
that to what you're charging for sales tax or property tax.
Yep.
Saying that's comparative. That's what it was. I mean, why isn't it still comparatively the same on the amount of the assessment?
Well, because the one across the street is an apartment building.
And mine basically, it's not used as, it's gonna sell as an apartment.
The one across the street probably needs to be looked at, in all honesty.
And what do you mean by that?
It probably needs to be reassessed.
Be higher?
Correct.
Okay, so, is it your opinion too that, Mr. Murray, that, do you think that this would sell for $300,000, this house?
I don't want to give an opinion without going inside the property and looking.
Sure. And Miss Osby, do you think that this would sell for $300,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Sure. 1 second. Let's talk with the people at the podium. Go ahead and ask questions.
Real quick, Mr. Murray, he keeps alluding to, and I'm just trying to clear the mud here. So if he sold it for apartment, would that make that assessment higher then, in your personal opinion, than a primary residence? Because then you gotta factor in your return of investment, so forth and so on, just, and I guess I could ask Crystal the same. I guess I should address it to her. So do you think that that assessed value would be higher then? Tough question.
That's a tough question. Because if you have, there's special legislation that apartment buildings with 4 units or more gets a special legislation. So you can't, I can't tell you what that would be. It would probably be, in my guess, it would be lower.
But,
Because of the special legislation only.
but then to go to bat for the assessor, if you will, it's not being used currently as an apartment
The
complex
state,
either.
in the state of Indiana, it is market value in use.
Yes, it's in use.
And it's being used as a single-family residence, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you all have any more questions for the assessor right now? No. Mr. Howard, would you step back up?
Okay, I can speak a little, well, I can speak a lot for one of these houses. 103 East National Highway, I actually sold that in 2021 for $165,000, which granted, it was a dump. I mean, I wanted to sell it quick. It was my mother's home. I was her power of attorney, but I sold it without her even knowing I sold it. It just needed to be gone. What was going on was the house east of me, we were remodeling for her to move into, which there again, I mean, that one's appraised kind of high too. But anyway, got her moved in and just needed to get rid of that one. So sold it for $165,000. That being said, that place on the inside compared to mine on the inside is absolutely fabulous. It's got updated central air, separate units from upstairs, downstairs. Mine does not. It's, yeah, I've got air upstairs, 1938 boiler system for, if you put $150,000 into my house, you might get 300 out of it. Yeah, but it's gonna take a bunch of updating. And like I say, I can compare it directly with the 103 East Main. And you know, it sold for $290,000. Yeah, in today's market, it probably is worth that.
It's probably worth what?
Yeah, it probably is worth the 290. Like I say, I just wanted it gone. It was real depressed economy in the late
You're not
teens.
talking about 600 East Main, you're talking about a different one?
Yeah, I'm talking about the one I sold for my mother at 103 East National Highway. It was a real depressed economy in the late teens. It'd been on the market for a long time. My father died in 2017. She said, well, I want to go ahead and move to Washington, go buy that for me. And I made them a ridiculously low offer, and they took it just to get rid of it. So that was kind of a strange one, value-wise. But yeah, I could have sold it for a whole lot more than 165, but I just got her money back and then a little bit.
What do you believe it's worth? In
What's
your
that?
opinion, what is the appropriate assessed value, Mr. Howard?
On my house?
Yes, sir.
You know, compared to the one across the street, how little it's going for, you say you've got it high. Right now, I mean, my house isn't worth, I'll give you an excellent, for example. Okay, Anna Lou Chapman, she contacted me a few years back, said, hey, I got a buyer for your house. And it's like, okay, I don't want to sell my house. And she goes, well, just put a price on it. They're really interested. And I was like, well, you know, it's not really in selling condition. I mean, it needs a new boiler. Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, I was rattling things it did need. And, oh, it doesn't matter. And I said, well, it sounds to me like it's going to be a tear down. And she said, yeah, they're going to tear it down and put something else there.
So what did you tell Ms. Chapman?
I told her $250,000, and she said they're not even interested in coming back with a counter. You're nuts.
You weren't trying to sell it, so.
But,
What
you know,
you
like
would-
I say,
that's what you
I
would
wasn't
sell it.
trying to sell it, so I threw a price out there.
You
My
would
God,
sell-
if somebody give me 300,000 for it today, write a check. Come on.
But you would sell it for $250,000?
Today?
Yes.
I don't know. That's, that's kind of right there. Whether I would or not, but I won't sell it.
Okay.
I got my mom living next door now. She's 89 years old.
Okay, so, what questions do you all have for Mr. Howard on this?
I do not.
Mr. Howard, you put on here that you think the property should be assessed at, let's see, 106,100, is that right?
Well, I'm a little high. It's 150,000. That's where I think it ought to be assessed.
But you'd sell it for 250?
I don't want to sell it. I mean, if I was going to sell it, like I say, I already priced it somebody for 250 and they weren't interested. Yeah, I'd sell it for 250 if I wanted to sell it. Yeah, real quick. I'd sell it for less than that if I wanted to sell it. Present condition, yeah. Like I say, if you dump 150 in it, yeah, then you might get 300,000 out of it.
This makes sense for us to, would you be open to Mr. Murray looking at the inside of the house?
Absolutely, yeah. Come take a look at the inside.
What is the,
I would object to that on the assessment, as far as being reassessed, we do not, all this policy is not to decide,
Okay.
it's not safe for anyone,
okay, okay. Do we have any pictures of the inside of the house, Mr. Howard?
I don't know what good that's going to do you. The house looks fabulous on
Well,
the
we
inside.
have had other,
I mean,
appeals and those,
There's nothing
with those,
wrong
we've
with the
got
way
pictures.
it looks, I
Okay.
mean, it's well placed.
okay,
But where you're getting into it is things like the boiler, 1938 showers, plumbing, that kind of stuff. That's why I say it would need a lot of updating in that department. But showing you pictures of the inside of the house, you're going to go, wow, that's a nice looking house.
what needs to be updated, if anything?
Like I say, it's got a 1938 boiler in it. There's no central air. So the boiler would be the central heating. So, yeah, like I say, no central air. Plumbing is all 1938. I'm talking toilets, some of the toilets are still the direct flush tankless like what you used to have in the courthouse.
We as a board, it gets difficult at times to make decisions, but we have to base it upon data.
Yeah, and I was
And-
trying to show you guys
Yeah.
the place straight across the street from me. Come on. What it sold for when I bought this, what mine sold for. I mean, that is a direct, you guys can't argue that.
Yeah. The assessor's office did provide us with 9 comparables, and in my opinion, they're accurate.
No, they're not. Like I said, that one that I sold, I mean, my God, that thing's fabulous, With central air, both floors, and central heating, and the lot's like a half a city block. No, that's, I can tell you, shoot that one down first-handedly. That's not a comparison.
So the recommendation that we have is approximately $70 a square foot. Is that correct? Approximately. $74 to $70. Is that right? Approximately 72, maybe. Yep. And would you say the place across the street is in the same shape that yours is in, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, like I say, when you
Have you been
compare,
inside? Have you been inside?
yeah,
Okay.
when you compare things like, the mechanics of it, I mean, I know Trinkle's put a new boiler in it whenever they owned it.
What you're asking for at 250, if that's what you're asking for, is
No, that's not what I was asking for.
right. But even at 250, that's $60 a square foot. And on this sheet that we have that are supposedly comps, and I think that they've done a good job of trying to give us some information, there's only one that's under $60 a square foot. So I would have to ignore these other 8 to even get to the 250 number, let alone the $100,000 assessment, which I'll just say, I mean, $100,000 doesn't seem right.
100,000 for what?
Seems wrong as an assessed value for your house.
No, I was saying, 150.
Okay, but you asked for $106,000 assessment is what you asked for on the sheet.
No. Oh, you mean on the sheet whenever I sent that in for, yeah, I mean, I was just trying to make a point,
Okay.
that they're comparative. I mean, yeah, mine's worth more than that.
But you don't think that that's actually realistic to
No.
assess it at 106?
No, I
Okay.
think 150, 160 is about where it ought to be.
Okay, and what, you understand what we're trying to get to is what the market value is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I wanted to sell it and not let it hang on the market for a long time, I mean, 250, it's gonna be on the market a while. There's gonna be all kinds of people look at the outside and go, oh God, I gotta go
But you
look
would
at it.
sell it for that, correct?
For what? If
$250,000.
I wanted to sell it, sure, absolutely, but I don't wanna sell it.
What questions y'all have for Mr. Howard?
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Howard, if there's nothing else. Ms. Ostby, Mr. Murray, would you have anything else for us? It's a 300,500 assessment, I think is what, 3,000? Okay. What is the opinion of the board? Is there a motion? It obviously depends on, it would have been nice, just in my opinion, if the assessor and the taxpayer could have gotten together ahead of time, because we probably wouldn't have to do this. Last year was at 282.
282.4.
This year it's approximately 300, so an 18 delta. So that is it's more than 5%. So I put more on the assessor whenever it's a more than a 5%. That's what I think we're supposed to do that anyways. I'm gonna make a motion. Unless you all have one. Do you have a motion, Ms. Clark or Mr. Tooley? Do you have a motion?
I think I would make a motion at the 296, 520,
Okay.
and that would be at the assessor's 5%. The data supports that the property is worth the data we have been given from the assessor's office of sales, which in the state of Indiana, that is what we're supposed to do, is go off the market sales. And the assessor has done, in my opinion, a very adequate job in supporting that.
Okay. Mr. Tooley's making a motion at a 5% increase from last year, which would be 296,520.
That's my thought. I shouldn't have made a motion yet.
It's okay. I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion about it? Have a roll call vote. Ms. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Tooley,
Yes.
and I'll make that unanimous. 296,520. It's a 5% increase from last year. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Okay, I believe that's all of the appeals. Very helpful. And again, this packet is super helpful, so thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for working on this.
You guys did a great job on that.
Okay,
I don't know where the extra copy.
okay.
I don't know where any of my stuff's at up here.
It's everywhere now.
Hey, this is the first time we've done a lot of these, so, you know, we're just kind of working through it and trying to figure out what makes sense, and I really appreciate it. We've got after the appeals, we've got communications to and from PTABOA. I'm gonna move that down because we've got someone here who would like to speak, who's been waiting very patiently, if it's okay.
Yep.
Could we hear from this gentleman who I believe is with the VFW Post 3321, is that correct? That's correct. Okay. If you don't mind, step up to the podium and just speak a little bit, or,
I was just gonna say that you have an exemption, in front of you from the VFW, in, Washington, asking for, a tax exemption.
what is your position on that?
Might also, that, my position is that they should get it.
Okay.
Total 100%. The other thing that I would add is that the Uplands Regional Bank, they withdrew their exemption. They sold that property.
Okay. Sir, if you step to the podium, and if we could, I will swear you in if you'd like to say a few things, if that's okay. Make sure he's picking up there. Sir, what is your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Michael Heschelman. I live 1048 Bloomfield Road in Plainville, representing VFW Post 3321, located at 409 East Main Street here in Washington.
Very good. And I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
About 4 years ago, our VFW Post ran into some...
Interrupt though, if she's supporting 100%,
I'm just going to explain a little bit.
I don't know what we're
Yeah. Just so they can hear what we got. We're okay. We had to close our canteen, sell our building because of some financial situations. We were able to regrasp, get back up, found a building to purchase. We're working on getting ready to open it. We did file our exemption status when we purchased the building. And first time coming through this, so I didn't know what to expect. And I just give you a brief background of what we did and ask for the blessings of the board to give us our exemption status back. We were tax exempt back before we had to sell our building on the property. We did downsize, but asking, like, as we put in our paperwork, to get our exemption status back.
Okay. Is there any questions for Mr. Heschelman?
No.
We have a motion on the board.
No motion.
First on granting this exemption at Mr. Heschelman's request and also the request of the assessor. We have a second.
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Heschelman.
Thank you.
Thank you for. I'm not sure either. We had some appeals, and oftentimes we get exemptions.
Or asked for them. We were told.
Okay. I think it was because of the nature of some of these clubs, just trying to make sure that we understood that it was a not-for-profit status. Is that correct?
And we have no problem.
And you switched sites, correct?
Yes, we shut down and then we reopened the location.
Yeah.
And it's not just for the VFW, it's across the board. Asking that you supply them with some
Fine. So thank you both very much.
Did you want to make some comments, Ms. Heschelman?
I think there was a miscommunication.
Okay, I do think that in April, we asked for just some clarification on a handful of exemptions, and I believe that this is one of them. Okay,
Second letter come out.
okay.
It was no asking to.
Because, I mean, they went to a lot of work to file all the justification, make phone calls and all that, you know, to support the position, and apparently necessary.
Oh, I think that it is necessary. Miss Osby, would you hop up there real quick? Thank you so much. So, this body receives exemptions for property taxes, and we can grant those or deny those. Is that correct?
Correct.
And at least today, we had two that we asked questions of, and one of those dropped their exemption request. Is that correct?
Correct.
And one of them, we asked to just give us some information, and that's been granted, and you're comfortable with that. Is that correct? Okay. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay. Go back to the agenda.
I think it's because when we were here before.
Let's talk a little bit about communications to and from the PTABOA, which I believe I added this, and it sort of relates to what we just had there. I do want us to be mindful. These are just my thoughts. I want us to be mindful how we're communicating with taxpayers. I can be very sharp and direct and unpleasant at times, and I need to be mindful of that, and I don't want to be that way, and I have to remind myself consistently that I should not be that way. These people are, by and large, paying their taxes, and if they don't, they lose their property. And so, I want us to be, as much as possible, pleasant in our communications. And I was trying to do that on this last item, and I at times am not that way, but I do think it's perfectly reasonable to ask why someone should be granted an exemption. Not-for-profits at times do many for-profit activities, i.e. selling food, giving money to whatever the case may be. And so if someone is requesting a property tax exemption, I think it's completely rational to ask for the backup for that specific exemption. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And I think we should be, so this is both and, it's not either or. The kind of the counterpoint to that is that help me, and we will help each other, and Crystal, if you will help me as well, be pleasant in my communication to whomever it might be. Yeah. And then I also want any communications that come from this board, from the assessor, to be pleasant, to be mindful that we want them to give us information. If we don't need them to be present for a hearing, let's not have them present at a hearing. If we need them to be present at a hearing, by all means, we should have them present at a hearing. I do recall now that we talked about this, and probably should have asked more questions. I probably should have had my notes in front of me from April. But if you're comfortable with an exemption and that's what they're asking for, we're not going to have a ton of debate and disputes.
I think the VFW across the state, correct, on as a whole, get a non-for-profit tax exempt.
I would say, though, that there are those that are not tax exempt on their property taxes. I would say that there are.
That's why we questioned the last time, and I think that's why we said it.
Is that right?
I would say that there are those that are, obviously, and there are those that are not. And he mentioned that they at some point did not have their property tax exemption for whatever reason. So when they ask for it again, it's perfectly reasonable to say, well, okay, but why?
Exactly.
Is that okay? I just want to make sure that we're being friendly and professional. I do remember that, and I appreciate it very much.
I think part of it too was Grant's comment, like the selling of food and the profit things they do, or I'm I'm sorry, when I say they, I'm not necessarily directing it at them. Nonprofits sometimes do have bake sales or have cookouts. Where's that profit? You know, is it,
They sell alcohol. I mean,
yeah, that's
go
true
in there and
too.
drink, and where does it, you know, I'm sure it goes to like,
True.
they help other veterans and
That-
stuff
that-
like that.
That is what we talked
It
about.
is,
you
yeah.
know. Does Jimmy John's pay property taxes? Does Mishler's pay property taxes?
Yes.
Good point.
Okay. Does Veterans of Foreign Wars pay the property taxes? No. So it's perfectly reasonable to ask of them, why should this be the case? I do, my recollection is that there are those that are tax exempt and those that are not, but I could be wrong about that. Very good. Let's make sure that we have friendly, crisp communications. Hold me to that.
Did a good
Okay.
job. Good job.
It was very helpful. You all are great.
Do we need to, all of us sign a sheet of this to give to Crystal?
We will as soon as we're at the end. If we're done with new business, let's go to staff reports. Is there anything else that you want to report to us? If we need to have Mr. Fisher come back, we can go ahead and schedule that for later this year, potentially.
Do you want me to work that out internally? Let me rephrase that. If he and I do not agree, you want him to come back. If he comes to an agreement, I can settle it.
Yeah, if you all arrive at a number that you all are collectively comfortable with, we do not need to reconvene. Is that acceptable?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any other staff reports? Other staff reports? This has been very helpful. You'll see on the side here that we are named as appointees. We are mere appointees. If I smart off to someone, the wrong person, I can get removed. So that's a change in the law that we put appointees on the agenda. It's funny because all these elected officials now, the auditor's putting them on the agenda. I'm like, you know, if they're elected, they don't have to be on there. But the reason it's important is a matter of transparency.
Great.
If someone has an issue, they need to know who's on the board. And they're like, well. We also are not to be communicating in any detail about topics that will appear in front of us outside of these meetings. We're supposed to hear the information essentially as a blank slate and say, well, this makes sense or that makes sense. So, you know, I know that you all are holding yourselves to a high standard, and I should be expected to do the same.
Good.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
Nope.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and the next meeting date will be to be determined.
Sounds good.
Make that motion, Ms. Clark?
I do, yes.
Julie?